Any other comments from our other two parents? All right, let's go on to our first question. The freshman students are now getting into that first project and that collaboration and group and finding out it's not as easy. There's 4 stages of group. The first stage is forming, where everybody's nice, they talk, they're polite, you know, kind of getting back into the swing of being at school. And the second stage is storming, okay, where you start finding some conflicts in other people and some things you don't like, or they do this or they didn't finish this. So what advice or what information would you provide the parents when a student comes home and they are frustrated with a group member?
We, one of the big things that we've found here at the school is, and you can see it in Mr. Mullen, there's a lot of passion here. Just hearing him talk, you can tell he's passionate about the whole idea. And the nice thing is, Mr. Mullet and everybody that works here, we've had no problem coming in, talking to them, and they talk to the kids, and they tell the kids, if you have issues, we've got different steps that we do to resolve those issues, and they're the same steps that we need to take in everyday life when you're working. And it is set up a lot like a job in here, where you have to do your part. You know, everybody does their part. You come together and you've got a whole. And if there are issues, they explain pretty well to the kids and to the parents if you ask about how to resolve those issues. You've got different steps of going through to get the other people on board and to get them working and doing their part. But they have to go through those steps. They can't just, you know, first step isn't go to the principal and talk to them. It's you have to sit down with your group, talk over the issues that you think you have, and sometimes you find out it's not really an issue within the group, it's just a misunderstanding. But they find that out in the proper way, and everybody hopefully works together in the end. So, but if they have issues here, you know, the teachers, everybody has been very perceptive to dealing with the kids' issues and helping them get through that stuff. So.
From the student perspective, how do you handle conflict?
Well, I think that it all depends on like how you like want to like learn. Like, do you want to learn like how to do something, or do you want to like learn how other people learn? Everybody learns differently, and everybody does things their different ways. You just have to like try to be flexible and understand, okay, they do things differently. Can we be flexible and be flexible with them and learn how they do it, or do we want to just be all not nice and make conflict? Because we have like group contracts and everything with due processes, and then we have to go in and, okay, you have a warning for leaving the group while we're working, or for not staying on task on your laptops. So it just really depends on if you want to be flexible.
Okay. Alex, do you want to comment?
She pretty much touched on everything. I just say it depends on the situation. You want to hear them out, you just don't want to fire them straight away. You want to hear them out, see why they did this, see why they did that, before you either fire them or talk to the facilitators.
Alex, did it get easier for that process as you went along?
Yeah, I think so, but because the first project, no one wanted to fire anyone, no one did fire anyone. But after someone first fired someone, it got a lot easier, and people saw it was actually helping. I mean, not for the person who got fired, but helping the conflict in the group.
What happens when a person gets fired?
That's good. Students?
Okay, when somebody gets fired, they have to do the project on their own. So like, they're allowed to like use the information they gathered together, but they are not allowed to use like the information they gathered themselves, not as a whole group. They have to use their information and then gather the rest of the information and do the project on their own.
Why don't they get to join another group?
Because they didn't want to work together with the group they were in, so they're not allowed to be put into a different group.
Do you guys choose your groups or?
Sometimes we do, and then it really depends on like what kind of a group we're doing. Like if it's like a 2 group, we usually choose our own groups, but if it gets out of control, and there's too much problems, like with people not staying on task, then they'll come in and be like, okay, somebody needs to move, and then they put us in groups.
Does it take everybody in the group to fire somebody, or is it just 1, 2?
It's everybody in the group. We all have to get together and have a talk with the person, and then explain to them why we want to fire them or why we want to give them a warning. And then we have to email them a document of what we told them and how they replied, and then we have to email it to our teachers.
It's all based on fact. It's not just because they don't like somebody or they're in a group of people that aren't their friends. It has to be based on criteria from their contract, and it's all backed up. It's written down, dated, everything they do, so that they can go back and look at everything. Remember on the 4th that we said you didn't get this turned in and we gave you, this amount of time. So everything's documented, and I think they've learned that it's not really about friendships or just what she said, that you have to learn to work with people that work different than you, and how that kind of helps everybody work better.
It's a great carryover in regards to real life scenario, if you think about it. I mean, wherever you work, wherever your occupation is, we certainly sometimes don't care for the people we're with and that kind of thing. So it's not necessarily a friendship, but I work with in retail and for the last 27 years in loss prevention. So unfortunately, I deal with people doing things wrong all the time. And so when I walk into a CVS pharmacy, I cover 60 stores in northern Indiana, and there's a lot of different environments. You know when you walk in the door what kind of morale is in the store and how people are working together. So it's a carryover. I've been able to use that example with Jordan a lot in regards to real life scenarios. So and even in the home. Even in the home, in regards to how we function together, in regards to making chores happen, and so it's a great carryover in regards to how the protocol here and how the group setting in real life.
Alex, was there a moment last year where it's like, it seems like group learning and contracts, that could get it's like a reality TV show, where everybody's focused on drama. Oh, was there a moment where it's like, okay, we had that happen once and then it never happened again, or was it every time there's drama and you lose focus on what you're trying to learn?
It happens sometimes, but not as often as some people think. But it did happen. Like when people got worried that they did something wrong and they were out of like
When they would start getting panicked.
yeah, and they would panic you. But then if you just tell them what they did wrong and give them a little warning, they actually pretty much get back on task and just keep working.
But it's pretty much the group giving that warning, not the facilitator.
Yeah, but the facilitators, they could, but they usually leave the groups to warn them, because they want us to warn them as a group, not just an individual.
What did you guys learn when you were in groups with your friends? Because I know some groups, they found something out, like what did you guys learn when you had 3 friends in your group rather than 3 people you really didn't know?
When I had 3 friends in my group, it didn't do very well, because all we wanted to do was just mess around and talk. But when I had people I didn't know in my group, it seemed to work a lot better.
And that was the consensus. You think it's going to be great working with your friends, and the consensus was it's not, because it's hard to hold your friends accountable. So it works when they don't get an opportunity to pick their own group. All right. Did we have another question?
Yeah, what if you spend so much time with group conflict that you don't complete the project in time? What are the consequences? I mean, does that ever happen?
I don't think we've ever had like it that bad to where we've spent like our whole project time on it, because if the conflict is like something really serious, we ask a facilitator to come in and facilitate us talking. Last year, I was in a group that had really bad conflict, and we brought in a facilitator, which is a freshman teacher this year, and he sat down and he's like, okay, everybody be quiet, one person talk at a time. Tell the group how you're feeling about the conflict in your guys' group. And it worked out. Like, nobody got fired, nobody got a warning, the conflict was solved.
Usually conflict happens when?
Either when you don't agree with someone, or you just seem like you want to do your own thing.
So the collaboration isn't there,
Yeah.
the communication isn't there. And that's what it is in real life. You know, when something needs to be done, that communication level needs to be there, to know what your expectations are. And that's why they have the parameters of the group contracts and the facilitators there to support it. All right, very good. Any other questions? Okay, any other comments from the panel? All right, next question. How can the freshman parents support the Eagle Tech culture at home? Okay.
Just talking to your student, you know, you need to have a conversation, how did school go today, you know, check Echo. I checked Rachel's Echo yesterday. She had some papers missing. I, you know, emailed her right away and said, what's up, well, you know, what are you missing? She said, I turned these in. So she went to her teacher, talked to the teacher and got it resolved with, you know, within the day. I asked her, you know, what kind of task are you working on? You know, do you need to get this done, that done? She, you know, and she's really good. She's got herself, you know, goal-oriented. She's mindful of her schoolwork and stuff. When she came out of 8th grade, she was struggling to get C's. Last year, she made the honor roll. So, you know, it was a perfect fit for